Imagine a world where the next generation of billionaires isn't born into palatial estates or ancient family legacies, but instead, their empires are built from the glow of laptop screens and the hum of servers. What if the world's next titans of wealth aren't inheriting marble halls, but digital wallets? What if the world's next billionaires aren't born into palaces, but into laptops? In this new era, the tools of power are no longer land deeds or oil wells, but lines of code and cryptographic keys. What if the next ruling class doesn't inherit oil fields, banks, or royal bloodlines, but private keys? Imagine a world where the most valuable assets are not stored in vaults, but in encrypted wallets, protected by nothing more than a password and a string of numbers. The gatekeepers of tomorrow may not wear crowns or sit atop thrones, but instead, they hold the power to move millions with a single click, their fortunes invisible to the naked eye, yet immense beyond imagination. Behind screens and encrypted wallets, a silent wealth revolution is unfolding. It's a revolution that doesn't make headlines or storm palaces, but quietly rewrites the rules of money and influence. Every transaction, every block mined, every private key generated is a step toward a new world order, one where wealth is borderless, decentralized, and often anonymous. Young crypto dynasts are quietly amassing fortunes, untraceable, unstoppable, uncensorable. They're building digital empires from their bedrooms, their wealth growing with every market swing, every new innovation. These are the pioneers of a new aristocracy, one that doesn't answer to governments or banks, but to the code they trust and the networks they build. Are we witnessing the birth of a new global elite, forged from Bitcoin, poised to challenge centuries of old money? As the world watches, a new class of power is emerging, one that could redefine what it means to be wealthy, influential, and free in the digital age. The question is no longer if this revolution will happen, but how far it will go, and who will rise to the top. To truly grasp the seismic shift happening in today's financial world, we have to journey back in time and examine the old guard, the legendary dynasties and families who, for centuries, defined what it meant to be wealthy. These were not just individuals, but entire lineages whose names became synonymous with power, privilege, and influence. Their stories are woven into the very fabric of history, shaping economies, politics, and even the culture of entire nations. The Rockefellers, for example, built an empire on oil and banking, transforming black gold into generational wealth. The Rothschilds, masters of European finance, orchestrated the flow of capital across borders, their influence stretching from London to Paris, Vienna to Frankfurt. These families didn't just accumulate riches, they engineered the very systems that governed global money. In the Middle East, Saudi royalty harnessed the vast oil reserves beneath their deserts, turning energy into unimaginable fortunes. Their palaces, fleets of luxury cars, and global investments became symbols of a new kind of wealth, one rooted in natural resources and geopolitical power. For these dynasties, power was inherited, centralized, and meticulously guarded. Wealth was passed down through generations, protected by ironclad trusts, secretive societies, and exclusive clubs. Entry was reserved for the chosen few, and the rules of the game were written to keep outsiders at bay. But in 2009, everything changed. An anonymous figure, or perhaps a group, known only as Satoshi Nakamoto, released Bitcoin. This wasn't just another financial product. It was a radical idea, a public, immutable ledger, open to anyone, owned by no one. No CEO, no monarchy, no family crest. For the first time, the rules of money were rewritten in code, not in boardrooms or royal courts. At first, the establishment scoffed. Wall Street, with its centuries-old traditions and rituals, dismissed Bitcoin as a passing fad, a toy for tech geeks and dreamers. The idea that money could exist outside their control seemed laughable. Banks called it a joke, a bubble, a scam. Financial experts lined up to predict its demise, certain that the old ways would endure forever. But beneath the surface, something extraordinary was happening. Early believers, programmers, libertarians, hackers, quietly amassed digital gold. In basements and bedrooms, they mined Bitcoin, wrote code, and debated the future of money. They saw what the old guard could not, a chance to build a new system, one that was open, transparent, and free from the grip of legacy power. This wasn't just a new asset class, it was the opening salvo in a financial revolution. The old guard's grip on wealth was being challenged by a decentralized force, one that promised to reshape the world's understanding of money, power, and possibility. Crypto fortunes spill into the real world. Luxury real estate, startups, sports franchises, venture capital. Bitcoin barons aren't buying indulgences, they're buying influence, lobbying, pro-crypto lawmakers, financial ecosystems outside banks. Decentralized finance executes trades and loans without a banker. Old money relies on control, crypto relies on consensus. A 25-year-old with a hardware wallet can rival a banking empire centuries in the making. Platforms like Uniswap and Aave rewrite lending rules. Banks take weeks, DeFi executes in minutes. Michael Saylor of MicroStrategy turned corporate treasury into Bitcoin, challenging traditional finance. Bitcoin whales don't just move markets, they shape narratives, investor sentiment, and regulation. Digital code now competes with centuries-old dynastic wealth. Old money thrives on hierarchy and control. Bitcoin thrives on decentralization. No king, no CEO, only math and consensus. Bitcoin barons fund open-source projects, censorship-resistant media, and privacy tools. Regulators warn, media fears crime and volatility. But is this protection or preservation of power? Bitcoin threatens centuries-old control because money shapes behavior. This revolution is global. Some countries embrace crypto, others ban it. Bitcoin barons influence policy, fund think tanks, and push blockchain adoption. Nations even consider Bitcoin reserves as strategic assets. Talent migrates to crypto-friendly hubs. Engineers, economists, traders. This isn't just a brain drain, it's a shift in global influence. As we look toward the future, a pivotal question emerges. Will the new generation of Bitcoin barons eventually merge with the world of old money, blending seamlessly into the established circles of inherited wealth and tradition? Or will they remain disruptive outsiders, challenging the status quo and rewriting the rules of influence and power? The answer may shape not just the financial landscape but the very fabric of society itself. Crypto philanthropy is borderless, transparent, and auditable, opening doors for a new kind of global giving. Unlike traditional charity, which can be slowed by bureaucracy and limited by geography, blockchain-based donations move instantly across continents, reaching those in need with unprecedented speed and accountability. This new model empowers individuals and organizations to make a tangible impact, regardless of where they are in the world. Yet the path forward is not without obstacles. Volatility, regulatory risk, and security concerns continue to cast long shadows over the crypto landscape. But history shows us that every major shift in wealth, whether through industrialization, technology, or globalization, has created new elites while dismantling the old guard. The rise of digital assets is simply the latest chapter in this ongoing story of transformation. This revolution, however, is unlike any before it. It is silent, encrypted, and decentralized, unfolding not in boardrooms or palaces, but in code, networks, and digital ledgers. Power is no longer confined to those with land or legacy, but to those who understand and harness the potential of technology. Today, Bitcoin barons are not just amassing wealth, they are reshaping entire industries, influencing government policy, and attracting the brightest minds from around the globe. Their reach extends far beyond finance, touching everything from art and education to healthcare and governance. The question remains, are we truly ready for a world where power is mined, not inherited, where influence is earned through innovation, not ancestry? The future of wealth and influence is being written right now, and its authors are those bold enough to embrace change. The old dynasties, Rockefellers, Rothschilds, Saudi royalty, remain formidable, but Bitcoin barons operate in shadows, untethered by old rules. When the next global financial tremor hits, whose hands will hold power? The heirs of centuries-old empires, or the builders of a digital dynasty no central authority can stop? Power doesn't disappear, it migrates.